Hey there, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Welcome if you're new. I'm happy to have you here. My name's Momo, and today I'm going to show you my most recent set of nails. Today I did some type of like airbrush design. It's kind of like an airbrush ombre. I've been seeing this type of thing going around, and I decided to top it with my most favorite chromes that I've been using. The Sunset Chromes by Ice Gel. And yeah, let's get into it. So you'll see that I already have builder gel on my nails. This one's Luminary, and then what I'm applying is a base gel on top of that. I don't always do that, but in this case, I had left my nails for a couple of days, so I wanted to just freshen up the nail with a little bit of base coat. That one is the Gin B G Jelly base coat. It's really good. And then I'm taking these tiny gels that I unboxed in the last video. If you're interested in Korean products, I will link that here. This is the Neon Ice Cream collection, and it's really beautiful. It is like a little pastel neon. It's neon ice cream, so it's meant to be bright neons that are also pastel, if that isn't obvious. So I'm using this color palette, and it is like a little bit maybe springy or maybe summery as we're moving into fall, but I do think that the chrome that I use on top kind of just makes these look sort of spacey or psychedelic in a way that transcends seasons. You can tell me if you agree. How does anyone feel about all the seasonal colors and that sort of thing? Because I think it's great to wear whatever you want at any time personally. And I also, as much as I'm looking forward to fall, I am not ready yet for something like a Halloween nail set. No shade to anyone who is. I know that that's a beloved holiday and some people need a couple of months of it. But for me, I feel like I'm still winding down from summer. And this nail set kind of reminds me of like a late summer sunset. Definitely like a sunset. That was sort of the inspiration. In fact, I was initially going to add clouds over this, clouds and a little bit of iridescent glitter, and I chose not to at the end because I just thought it was so beautiful. I didn't want to cover up any of the chrome. So you can tell me also if you think that was a good idea, or could these have used some clouds? Do you feel like they stand on their own? I definitely tend toward nail art. If you've been here for any amount of time, you know that I like kind of intricate designs, or maybe not even intricate, but just I like to have a design on my nails these days. So it was strange to just have kind of one thing going on all the nails. But yeah, I just didn't want to cover any of it up. Anyway, so you will have seen I left it in real time, which I like to do, that I laid down each of the colors, and I'm using the sponge to just dab them in. And this is definitely an ombre technique. I'm calling it airbrush-esque because I think there are different types of ombres. There are ombres where you're trying to blend two or more colors, and then create like a middle shade in between those colors by blending them. So like if you were taking a yellow and a blue and ombreing them together, you're hoping for a nice like middle green shade. And this one is not so much that. This is more laying the colors on top of each other with a little bit of a blend of them. But the airbrush technique, I feel like, because airbrush traditionally has, a pigment in it that dries down, I feel like it's less about having them be, mixed together and more about just having these beautiful shades like laying on top of each other in kind of like a blown out way. So that's kind of what I'm going for, but there's a little bit of mixing. With that said, you don't need to mix these too much because it can get a little bit muddy, especially if you're using a couple of colors. And I did just want to add too that I think the type of sponge matters. So the sponge that I'm using is a little bit coarser, I would say, as compared to like the makeup triangles that you sometimes see. I feel like they're called that. The like latex feeling makeup sponges, the disposable ones. Those are also really nice to use for ombres, but I will say that they do absorb a lot more product than sort of a rougher sponge type. And they blend it more. They blend the products together more, whereas this kind of leaves like a texture on the nail that to me mimics airbrush. And also, I'm no professional in any way in the nail world. I'm not a nail tech. I'm certainly not a chemist. What if I was secretly a nail chemist? I'm not. But I do feel like I would be remiss not to say that in case I'm the first person telling you this, I know that this has been going around quite a bit. So if you are a nail enthusiast or if you've been looking into using an airbrush, you probably have already seen this. But do your research on airbrushing. Airbrushing curable gels seems to be pretty universally accepted as not a good idea because you're sort of aerosolizing and making teeny tiny particles out of a gel that is not meant to be inhaled. Obviously, people get gel allergies, and one quick way to do that would be to be inhaling, uncured gel. But anyway, I'm not an expert. I'm not judging anybody, but just something to note. I would feel like silly to not note it in this video. Anyway, back to the technique. So yes, I went ahead and did one layer, cured each of the nails, and then I'm going in, just because I wanted a little bit more of a vivid color, I'm going in and doing the same thing on top of each of the nails. I'm laying the colors in the same spot that they were in the first round of ombreing, and then just patting it in. Another thing I wanted to say is that I think the best gel to use for this is one that has kind of a medium opacity. So not necessarily like a painting gel where it's like mostly pigment, not as much of like a clear base. You want a little bit of a clear base to help spread out the gel, but you also want it to be pretty pigmented so that you can sort of just pat it on and it like leaves a little bit of a texture. I don't know. I'm not sure that explains it correctly, but I would just say, in my experience, a medium texture or medium opacity gel is what you're looking for. And there was another thing I wanted to share that now I'm forgetting, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. In any case, I really like the way this looks. I've seen this done now with fall colors as well. I'll try and find some pictures if I can of examples of this type of nail. That was kind of the inspiration. But there you go. So now I'm going in with a top coat after curing that second layer. And this is being used just as sort of a buffer so that I can go in and do a little bit of filing. Because with chrome, if you have any physical texture on your nail, that will really show through in the chrome. You're looking for like a really glassy finish with chrome. So if you have little bumps, you'll see that like the glassy finish is kind of like interrupted. It's kind of disrupted. So I went ahead and applied some gel because, as mentioned, there is a little bit of texture when you use that type of sponge. And then I'm filing. Oh, and I just realized what I wanted to say. Priya K Nails, whose channel is wonderful. You should go subscribe to her if you don't already. She noted that if you've ever ordered from Madame Glam, they have a very specific packaging, and you can use the foam that comes in their packaging to ombre with. It's similar to the texture of the sponge that I'm using. The sponge that I'm using is from a Japanese brand, and I bought it on sale. I don't even know if it's still made, but I will link it if I can find it down below. But yes, also if you want to do some upcycling, you can actually use the sponge that is in the Madame Glam box packaging. So very cool. So anyway, I just went ahead and used a file to sort of buff and smooth out that top coat. And now I am removing any dust and then also just doing any little bit of last minute filing to the shape of the nail. And then I'm using the ice gel powder top gel. And I am using a lot of the same techniques that I used in my last video. So again, no, not my last video, but the video I did about chrome and things that I've picked up for, best practices with chrome powder. So I will link that. But yes, I am going ahead and doing a full cure, which in this case, per the manufacturer's instructions, is about 30 seconds. And then I am dabbing on the chrome kind of all around the nail and then rubbing it in. And rubbing it in quite a lot. It takes kind of a while, like at least longer than I expected, to make sure that you're getting chrome on all of the areas of the nail. And this chrome is gorgeous. I feel like this makes me wish that I were a better photographer, or I had a better understanding of lighting or whatever. Maybe I had a better camera, because I feel like it's really hard to pick up exactly how beautiful these chromes are on camera, but just believe me, they are gorgeous. And also, if you're interested in these gels, I do now have a code with Nashley Nails. They were nice enough to offer one. So if you want 10% off on their site, it's MAR10. And I don't think it's an affiliate code or anything like that. I think it's just a discount for you. Anyway, so yes, I'm rubbing this in. And I wanted to correct the record that I had originally said in this last video that there's a difference between expensive chrome and inexpensive chrome, and that there was a video made by Nail Journal about it. And then I reached out to Nail Journal and asked her, Mutsa is her name, if she could remember the video, because I couldn't find it. And she was like, I don't think I made that. So I remembered that it was actually this YouTuber. She makes wonderful videos. She has a beautiful style if you're interested in Japanese, like nuance art, nail art. She does a lot of that. She doesn't post very frequently, but she has a great backlog of videos if you want to go look. But anyway, yes, she made this video about expensive versus inexpensive chrome powders. And yeah. Okay, just look at that. I think you can kind of see how gorgeous this is, but if you can believe it, it's even more like shiny and reflective and cool in person. These powders are just beautiful, and they are kind of expensive for the amount that you get in there. You should know that it comes with a fairly small amount of powder. The powder goes a very long way, but yeah, chrome powder seems really expensive for what it is to me, and I'm curious. I wish I had like an industry insider friend who could explain why. Maybe the pigment itself is very expensive to manufacture or something. I'm not sure. But really good chrome powders seem to be kind of expensive. Anyway. Okay, so I'm going ahead and applying a top gel here. This is the Izemi Resin in High, and I've already actually applied a base coat to each of the nails, and I've filed the free edge. Again, there's more details about all the things I do for chrome in that video that I mentioned earlier. But yes, I wanted kind of a thick, very clear and very shiny top coat, and this Izemi one fits that bill perfectly. It's my favorite. So that's what I'm topping off with. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this nail set. What do you think? Should I have put a design over it? Do you feel like these stand alone? I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I'd be curious to know what you think. Here they are right after completing the set. You can see that little bit of blue and green reflectiveness in them here. And then we're going to go out into natural light. You'll see that I'm trying to change the different settings of the camera to see if I can pick this up in a different way. You can kind of see the green more here, actually. But yes, let's go outside and see them in natural light. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that would be awesome. It really does help out the YouTube algorithm gods or whatever. Anyway, I hope to see you in the next video, and have a great day. Bye.